John, October baseball's been special. These playoffs have been amazing. The ups, the downs, the mood swings, the mistakes, the big hits, the unbelievable pitching, the failures on the mound. And now we go to the World Series. It starts on Friday, and that is your topic. Fall Classic equals memories. And we got the Dodgers and we got the Yankees in the World Series. First things first, let's talk about the Dodgers. How they have survived, to me, is the most amazing thing. It's pretty inspiring. Ragtag pitching staff destroyed by injuries, losing their first baseman, who's a shell of himself right now with an ongoing ankle problem. And yet they've survived the bullpen days more times than not. They got two established starting pitchers and then volunteers. John, it's been absolutely amazing what the Dodgers did. And they finally wore out and put away the New York Mets, and their bats beat the New York Mets' arms. The pitching staff of the Mets was pretty good, and Peter Alonso couldn't really do it by himself. I am just so impressed with the fact the Dodgers are playing baseball this coming Friday in the Fall Classic. I would have never imagined this. And here's an asterisk to that comment. In the ninth inning of the broadcast on Sunday night, as the Dodgers were destroying the Mets in that final game and clinching the World Series ticket, the broadcasters spent the entire ninth inning talking about the demise of the Padres. What a shocker. They used all types of descriptions to talk about the most complete team that everybody around the nation thought could be in the World Series and how they failed. They used every word in the dictionary except the word choker. I can't imagine how hard it is to be a Padre right now, knowing what you had right at your doorstep, what you had with a 2-1 lead against the teams now going to the World Series, and what you let get away. So that, to me, is the Dodgers were just pounding the Mets on Sunday. Just the thundering comments coming out of the mouth of John Smoltz for the most part. He called the Padres everything but chokers. So in retrospect, let's talk about the Dodger accomplishment, but go ahead, comment on the asterisk. Did the Padres choke this thing away, and how ghastly is it? They're not playing this week.
Yeah, well, the Padres choked. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I'll tell you what, I mean, we've gone through decades of misery, but at least the Padres are relevant, even though they may have choked. But you got to tip a hat to the Dodgers. They made it to the dance. So let's see what happens.
The Yankees, they dispatched Cleveland, snap at the fingers. I thought they would. Yankees, it's obviously Judge. It's Soto. And Giancarlo Stanton has come back from the dead. He had 4 home runs this past week in the playoff series against Cleveland. The Yankees' batting order is really good. And then you add in role players who get things accomplished. And I'm talking about Gleyber Torres. I'm talking about the shortstop. I'm talking about Verdugo, the outfielder. Yankees have got depth in the batting order that really makes a difference. This Volpe kid, I think, is unbelievably unsung. The big issue with the Yankees, they got 3 starters. I just don't know if the Yankees have anywhere near enough in the bullpen, and that becomes a big issue. But the Yankees are really doggone good. And Cleveland tried hard, but Cleveland just did not have enough bats. And yeah, they had an occasional home run from Fry or from Mr. Christmas, Noel. Ramirez, they pitched around him. Cleveland kind of ran out of starting pitching. They're a really young team. And of course, I flip back to the whole season work. Team batting average at 238. And they did get to the American League Championship Series. So you got the Yankees. What do you think about the Pinstripers, the Bronx Bombers?
Well, we kind of all saw this coming, right? I mean, I think the American League playoffs are not nearly as competitive as the National League side. And the only other team I thought really had a chance to knock off the Yankees might have been Baltimore, but they got knocked out in the first round. So here we go. It's just like 1981 all over again.
Yeah. And this has been an unbelievable rivalry between these two. There's so much tradition. This is a 22nd World Series between these two teams going back to the early 1900s. 1981, the Yankees, the Dodgers, spectacular. It's the 41st World Series the Yankees have played in. Think about that going back to the early 1900s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and they were dominant, went bad, and then came back again. So this is such a rivalry. I remember, because I grew up on Long Island, I remember Yankee Brooklyn Dodger World Series games in the 50s, and then obviously into the 60s. And then, of course, the Dodgers are out here on the West Coast. So It's a great rivalry. I think everybody's going to be tuned into Ohtani versus Judge. Obviously, you got frontline pitching. You got Garrett Cole and two others. The Dodgers have got two starters and then bullpen days. I don't know how to read this thing. I could say pick 'em, pal, because either one could win it. Either one could blow it and get screwed out of it. It's going to be a fun fall classic. What do you think?
I think the Dodgers are going to win it. I mean, I really do. I mean, because you said that they have the role players on the Yankees, but the role players for the Dodgers, like Tommy Edman, had just really stepped up, and a lot of these other guys are surprising us in so many different ways. But I remember the '81 World Series. That was Fernando Valenzuela, the strike-shortened season. They face off in '77 and '78 as well.
Mhm.
I remember that as a kid. So this, I mean, as a baseball fan, this is going to be fun to watch. I'm going to take my Padre fandom and set it aside. But I think the Dodgers are going to win this in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I misspoke. This is the 22nd time the Dodgers have been in the World Series. It is. They've faced the Yankees 12 times.
Okay.
Yankees have won 8. The Dodgers have won 3 world titles against the Yankees.
All right.
So interesting. You're a baseball fan. I'm sure you have an opinion. I don't know whether you want to couch it under the idea the Dodgers earn this, the Yankees have this right to do this, or the Padres choke their opportunity away. Pick one of those angles, jump into fans forum right now so you get in line, because the longer we go, the more people are going to be there getting ready to bark at me. They're not going to bark at him. But if you got an opinion, Dodgers versus Yankees, or did the Padres choke this thing away? Are you embittered by what Padre baseball became?